Hi there, welcome back to 11 Plus Confidence. Today I'm looking at the CGP book for English for age 9 to 10, pages 10 and 11. Dashes and apostrophes. So we can use dashes not dissimilar to the way we might use brackets. So here we have crackers, the pet shop's oldest parrot, finally found a home. So you can see what I mean. They could have used brackets, but they've used dashes. So, yep, it's always missing a pair of dashes. So the Eiffel Tower, a monument in Paris, was once the tallest structure in the world. So we can isolate that extra information with dashes. And just as we said with brackets, we can mask that off. If I can just do it like that. The Eiffel Tower was once the tallest structure in Europe. We can read that without this added information, or we can add that in. I picked a glass vase, one with a painting of fish on it, for the living room. So it doesn't quite work. It needs this fish on it. Yeah. So I picked a glass vase for the living room. That works. And then if we add the extra information, I picked a glass vase, one with a painting of a fish on it, for the living room. Okay, and basically they carry on in that way. Let's just skip down a little bit. We go to apostrophes. This is something that annoys people, and you'll see people online, criticizing people's grammar. It's often about where they put an apostrophe. I don't know why they bother to correct people, but some people are very bothered by this. So where should you use an apostrophe? Where should you not use an apostrophe? I've already gone through this once and rubbed it out because I didn't feel I'd explained it clearly enough. So there's two places that one might use an apostrophe. One is for what's called a contraction. So a contraction is where we shorten a word, usually in direct speech. So I was ill today, so I didn't go to school is short for I did not. So did not. We lose the O, put an apostrophe in, and run the two words together. So it becomes, well, this is correct. Didn't. So what this is asking us to do here is put an N to show no mistakes. This one does have a mistake. It's not far wrong, but it is wrong. So it should be you'll. You, short for you will. So the contraction, making it smaller, they've taken out the WI, run the two together, and put an apostrophe between the YOU and the double L. Same here. Mustn't. They've run the must and the not together. The apostrophe should go between the N and the T. What about plural? Okay, this is a thing people need to grasp. You never use an apostrophe simply for plural. So here we have an example of that. The dogs have escaped from the garden. It ends with an S, but does it need an apostrophe? The S just makes dog into plural, dogs, just multiple dogs. The dogs have escaped from the garden. There's no possessive there. It's just plural. So if it's just plural, we don't use an apostrophe. So not plural. I'll put not plural. So where's the other place we use it? As I mentioned that word there, possessive. So what does that mean? Let's just look for one here. The hot air balloon landed in Sue's garden. So the person is called Sue, and it's Sue's garden. So we understand this to mean the garden belonged to Sue. So we have the word, the name, the thing, the noun. And then if it's possessive, we have apostrophe S. Because it's not if we didn't have the apostrophe there, it'd be S-U-I-S, meaning multiple Sues. It'd just be a plural of Sue. So the apostrophe indicates that there's possession there, that the next thing belongs to them. Here we have an example, the children's shoes. So they put the apostrophe after the S. So should they have done that? Well, they shouldn't have done that. So we should have children's. Children, the word children is already plural. It doesn't end with an S. We're only adding the apostrophe S to show that the shoes belong to the children. There's one more instance which I don't think they illustrate here, which if we were talking about, let's go back to the dogs. If we were talking about there's 3 dogs and they've each got a bowl, we'd be talking about the dogs' bowls. Okay, now the word is dogs. The S is just part of the plural of the word. It makes it into a plural. So if we want to make it possessive, showing the bowls belong to the dogs, the apostrophe comes after the word. It's the same rule here as with Sue. The apostrophe comes after Sue and is then followed by an S. The apostrophe here comes after the word, which is in this case ends with an S already, but we don't add another S. The other thing we should perhaps just mention here is its. Its with an apostrophe equals it is. So here the rider threw, the horse threw its rider off during the race. If we were to put an apostrophe in there, we'd read that as the horse threw its rider off. Which is incorrect. So it doesn't need an apostrophe. It's possessive, but it's a pronoun. Its is a pronoun like his or her. So its is correct. Sorry, I should put an N there. There's no mistake. And here they've put one in. Broadway is famous for it is theatres. No, it should just be its. Here's one where sometimes it is. This is a contraction. So you never use for its, you never use the apostrophe when it's possessive. But here, there's no mistake. Okay, I hope those are clear. Inverted commas and colons. So here we have rewrite the reported speech as direct speech. So what are those things? Direct speech are the exact words someone spoke. Reported speech is a record of what they said, but not necessarily in the exact words. It's not an exact quotation. If we look at this one, Carolina politely asked where the toilets were. That's reported speech. It's a record of what she said. But what she actually said, the words she actually used might have been, where are the toilets, please? Or it might have been, could you tell me where the toilets are, please? Or, excuse me, could you tell me where the toilets are? So you see, it's slight variations of what was said, but this record is correct to all 3 of those variations. So let's just look at one of those. The key thing here is that we use the correct punctuation. So it opens with speech marks. Let's go for where are the toilets, please? Where are the toilets, please? Question mark. Close speech marks. Asked, what's her name? Carolina. Misha said she didn't enjoy the film. Simply, we'd have open speech marks. I didn't enjoy the film, comma, close speech marks, said Misha. So the key thing being that we open the speech marks, then we end with some form of punctuation. That might be a question mark. It might be an exclamation mark, but most commonly it's just a comma. Then we close the speech marks. And then we have perhaps asked, Carolina, said Carolina, stated Carolina. We can have variations, usually just said, so and so. And when we're following a direct speech, we close the speech marks, and then the following word will be a lowercase. So let's just write this one. Misha said she didn't enjoy the film. I did not enjoy the film, comma, followed by closed speech marks, said lowercase, Misha. Full stop. Oh, I missed a full stop up there. I didn't put it very clearly. So it should be. So these things, when they're doing them for this kind of practice, need to be very, very clear. Yep, I think that's okay for those. Then we come down to colon. So a colon is used for a couple of different things. The first is beginning a list. Before you start, gather your equipment. Colon, list. A bowl, icing sugar, and a spatula. That's a list of 3 things. The snowboarders were miserable for a reason. And this is the other thing a colon could be used for, additional information that explains the first part. So the snowboarders were miserable for a reason, colon, no snow. This information explains the first part, kind of added information. Is it easy? It's easy to operate. Press this button and you will start the engine. It's easy to operate, colon, press this button and you will start the engine. So the second part explains the first part, adds information. Here's another one that's another list. I love 3 things in my life, literally giving you a list. So that'd go here. Here's the list. My friends, comma, my family and my dog. It was an obvious issue. Zoo hated swimming in the sea. So colon, so this is extra information that explains the first part. Okay, so that was quite an information-rich double-page spread there, especially the apostrophes. I hope I made that, I hope I explained that clearly enough, the different uses of an apostrophe and where you should and should not use one. So, yep, that's it for today. I will see you next week with more English and more 11 Plus confidence.